Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk. You me funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore!
Well, Joshua, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations on this series. I can't imagine how many hours went into this, and now that it's finally getting out there to the people, it's got to feel rewarding.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And yeah, God, in terms of hours, 4.5 years. Every time you make a documentary, you don't know what you're signing up for. It could take 2 years, it could take 4.5, it could take more. And so you're very much along for the ride. And when you get to the point where it's finally going to be released and you're happy with it, which my team and I are, it's a great feeling. We're very excited for people to see it.
What I find interesting about a documentary is like, okay, say somebody puts a screenplay on my desk. I can see the beginning, the middle, the end. I can then storyboard it. I can plan out for it. I'm not going to have any surprises. But with a documentary, like you said, you don't know what the timeline of production is going to be, how many great interviews you're going to get. And then in the middle of an interview, someone says something that then spawns like another 20 million hours of research that you have to go then dive into. I guess the documentary comes together in the edit, I would imagine.
You would think you've done this before, by the way. That's that's so accurate. I can't even tell you. You do not know what is going to happen. It is what is thrilling and terrifying. And then absolutely that editing room. I mean, we spent 2 years in the editing room, which is the longest I've ever spent. Prior to that, it was a year. But you are effectively writing the piece with the footage that you've been able to get, and you cannot dictate what is going to happen in that footage. And so you're trying to find the path when there are an endless amount of paths via those various moments that you described that suddenly come up. So it's a meticulous process.
So where does this, I'm always like very fascinated, like the point of origination, like when did it start and when did this story hit you? Because when I watched, some of the doc and seen the trailers and read up on, David, the actual guy that this is all based on, obviously it's wildly fascinating. My uncle was a mortician. So I already had like a built-in interest into this field.
Where?
He was in Alabama, in Decatur, Alabama. And he always said that he liked the job because his clients didn't complain. That was his joke that he would have. But this guy's clients definitely complained. So, okay, where did you first, kind of find this story?
I can tell you exactly when. It was December 2020. I was home like everybody else. I was remotely editing two things. At the time, I was making a doc series called Sasquatch, and I was making a doc feature, a film about Bob Ross. And I knew that I was going to finish those things call it in the next 6 months. And what am I going to do next? Well, I love noir stories, and more specifically, I love LA noir stories. Going back Sunset Boulevard, The Long Goodbye, Chinatown, all the way to Mulholland Drive. These are great movies, and I'm not from Los Angeles. I'm from New Jersey. And so when I got to LA over 20 years ago, it was a scary place. The sun is always shining. There's all sorts of weird, creepy things that happen in this big city. It's also this place where my dreams are hopefully going to come true. And it's just the collision of all those elements just I think gave me an insatiable appetite for those types of stories. And so I wanted to find one that I could make a doc about. And I did what you do these days. You go online and you start to Google, you start to search. And I found these old LA Times articles about this scandal from the 80s that took place in this funeral home in Pasadena, Lamb Funeral Home. Lamb, and so I dove in that moment and knew this is what I'm going to try to make next.
So when you start to get into it, and then you find out all the layers of the documentary, but then you find David, and you start to kind of break down who this guy is and kind of what made him do the things that he did, and then actually having that ability to talk to the man himself. I would remember watching as a kid Barbara Walters or whoever the journalist of the day was go talk to Charlie Manson or talk to some infamous criminal for whatever they might do, and do it in person. And I always felt that to be chilling, and I thought that took a certain level of bravery to go in there and confront somebody on some of the dastardly things that they may or may not have done. What was the vibe of talking with David himself, and what was your preparation for that moment?
I mean, the preparation was about 2.5 years because from the moment that my producing partner, Steven Berger, and I decided we wanted to try and make this, we reached out to him and said, hey, this is who we are. These are the things that we've made. He was incarcerated at the time. And would you be willing to do an interview? We want to tell this story. And so from the moment he said yes, we really never knew if or when he was going to get out of prison. And keep in mind, COVID era, they're not just letting people into prisons to do interviews. Everything is locked down. Even more specifically in the state of California, I don't know if this has changed in the last couple of years, but for a long time, you could not make an inmate specific interview request. And I think it dates back to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and
Sure.
just some of these really high profile people who, they effectively became celebrities, and they could really tie up the resources in a Department of Corrections if everybody's just allowed to ask to interview them. So we didn't know if or when he was going to get out. And then finally, I get a call from my producer. He's getting out in 48 hours. That was 2.5 years into making this thing. And we just quickly mobilized. We all head to Sacramento. He was in a prison outside of there. And I don't think we were 3 minutes out of the prison gate with him, because we told him we will pick you up and we can do the interview. I don't think we were 3 minutes down the road once we pulled out of that prison parking lot when he on his own just brings up the funeral home, the mass cremations, some of the really crazy, intense allegations that have been made over the years. And I just thought, my God, this is gonna be a wild couple of days. And yeah, chilling is an apt word, but at the same time, it's kind of game seven when you get that.
Sure.
And I grew up playing hockey, and it is still my greatest love. And it is interviewing a person like that is an adrenalized experience, and it is the championship game. Everything is on the line, and you're either going to get a great interview and win, or you're not. And in my case, it's going back and figuring out, is this even worth making? And so you're locked in. And if you're lucky, like I was, you have a person like him who was very willing to talk.
Yeah, very willing to talk, and a lot of just very compelling moments throughout this documentary. I'm sure that you're proud of it now that people are going to get to see it, and the 4.5+ years and hours that you spent on this thing, people can finally sit back and take in this truly one of a kind, unique story that y'all have told. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today, and congrats on the documentary. I can't wait to see what you have coming up next.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.